we can certainly get started. Welcome to everyone to today's Pathways Masterclass. We are super excited to have you join us today and hope that you'll be able to learn a lot from today. It is going to be, Tapiwa is going to take us through the masterclass, but we do encourage you to also participate, ask questions. This is an amazing forum for us to all learn. So before we get started, I know it is customary for most Toastmasters meetings to have a toast, but because today's a little bit of a different kind of meeting, it is a masterclass, I was thinking that we might all be able to think to ourselves and maybe just post in the chat, just something that we are either working on or excited for or grateful for. So either something you're working on, excited about, or grateful for. So we can just instill this beautiful sense of positivity on this beautiful weekend. So do put that in the chat. So as mentioned, today is a little bit different. We have a Pathways Masterclass as Toastmasters International is venturing into this interactive online community and online space. We just wanted to make sure that we're not just going to our meetings or having the meetings, but not knowing what's happening, but rather provide an opportunity to get the in-depth understanding of what Pathways is, just to make your Pathways journey as memorable as possible, but also that you're getting everything you need to get out of Pathways as well, understanding what exactly Pathways is. So I'm going to hand over to our Vice President of Education, Tapiwa Chimganda. Tapiwa.
Thank you, Rutendo, for that introduction. So good morning, everyone, fellow Toastmasters members. I see we have a lot of visiting members from other clubs, and that is really awesome this morning. I'm hoping we can have an interactive session where I'm going to first take you through an overview of Pathways and what it entails, and in between have Q&As. And then I'm also going to share my screen to just show you the tools that are available on Toastmasters International and how it works. So I will start off with a short educational. Let me just share my screen. Okay, I hope everyone can see that. Okay. So basically, as I mentioned, for today's masterclass agenda, first I'll start with an educational, then we'll have a Q&A session. I'm hoping in the Q&A session, we can all, put up questions and talk about things. And as questions arise as well, please do drop them in the chat box. Yumna is going to be the Zoom master, so she's going to keep an eye on some of the questions that people drop in there, and we can engage in that first Q&A. And I'm also hoping that other members who may know the answers can also chime in, and we can just all have an open discussion about this Pathways and where we're moving to, especially with the old program coming to an end. And then after that, an interactive tour of Basecamp. I'm going to share my screen. I am not a pro, but I'm hoping through my own learning of going through Pathways, I can show you what I've learned and how I'm going through it, and everyone can ask questions. And we're also going to put up polls over the session. How we're going to use these polls is that EY going forward would like to have workshops every now and again to address some of the challenges that people are going through, because as VPE, a lot of people have, brought forward some of the concerns. They're not easily navigating through Pathways. So we're going to put up polls and get a sense of where everyone is at. So just to start, in terms of the vision that when I look at Pathways, and just from looking at why Pathways was even developed, Pathways was developed to be a sort of learning experience, self-paced, you make it what it is. So everyone always asks, what are the paths? What path should I choose? But there's no wrong path. There's only paths that you didn't know you were meant to walk, and you discover while you're on that path. So the education program that Toastmasters is transitioning to is going to be Pathways. The old program is coming to an end at the end of this month, actually. what Pathways aims to be is an integrated journey. So Toastmasters integrated various aspects of what the old program entailed to make it a personal and professional development journey. It aims to build competencies, not just to speak, but communicate and lead. And the goal of Pathways was to have different journeys that people can walk on to achieve what they're trying to achieve, either in your personal capacity or in terms of your professional development. For instance, one of my goals professionally is to become a better facilitator. So I'm actually on innovative planning. And so Pathways, there are 11 paths you can choose from, everything from being a dynamic leader. Innovative planning is one that I'm on, to being a motivator through motivational strategies, to engaging in humor. So all of these pathways basically have different projects you can choose along the way to gear your learning to what you're trying to achieve. With every pathway has got 5 levels. Level 1, sorry, I just heard someone. Okay. Level 1 is learning the fundamentals. Level 2, you're honing into your style. With level 3, you increase your knowledge, then you build on your skills and you demonstrate expertise. With each level, you get to do projects which challenge you in different ways. So I'm just going to go through what level 1, which is learning the fundamentals, looks like. With all of the pathways, level 1 is actually the same. Level 1 has got 3 projects. So what I want to put across with this is that each level has got projects, and projects can either be comprised of a speech and a role or both. And with each project, you get evaluated for either the roles you do and the speeches you do. So for instance, across all the 11 pathways, level 1 has got these 3 projects. So your project 1 is an icebreaker speech. Project 2 is 2 speeches and an evaluator role. Project 3 is a research and presenting speech. So level 1, you build the fundamentals. Thereafter, the different pathways then have different projects slightly geared to the type of learning experience you're trying to gain. On level 2, you've got 3 projects, which can either be 2 speeches in a row or 3 speeches, depending on the pathway you're on. I know it's always tricky because sometimes you don't know what these are, but later on when I share with the interactive session, I'll show you that with the way Toastmasters is developing Basecamp, you can actually now open up everything and get a sense of all the projects that are available to you. So from level 3 now, you get to do a project, an elective. What Pathways calls an elective is simply a project which can either be a speech or a role. So throughout your pathways, you get to do different projects and electives, and there is a wide array of projects you can choose from. So that's what I was saying about the way Toastmasters has designed pathways is for you to make the journey what you want to make of it, and you walk your path. In actual fact, 2 people can be on the same path, like I am on innovative planning. But at the end of it, because of the different projects we get to choose through the electives that Pathways makes available, we can get different learning experiences geared towards what we're trying to achieve, either personally or professionally. So this, in terms of some of the projects that are available on Pathways, from your level 1 evaluation and feedback to your more complex projects on level 5, which are on the right-hand side, which would be things like leading in a volunteer organization, cross-cultural understanding. So these projects are just snapshots of the projects that are available across the paths. I took examples across from innovative planning, dynamic leadership, to strategic relationships, just to show everyone what the type of projects are. When it comes to the electives as well, the electives have got slides, I think a lot of these projects, a lot of people from the older program would recognize some of these projects, like um, effective body language, inspiring your audience. So what Pathways has done is that there are fixed projects for each level. And as you go higher from level 3 going onwards, then you get a choice, an array of electives that you could delve in. For instance, at our club, Rutendo, who's the president of EY, actually recorded a podcast live as part of, I think it was her level 4, and it was really awesome to see that. And similarly with me, this workshop is actually part of a project I'm doing for my level 5 pathways. So I think that's the awesome part, that Pathways has actually brought in some freedom to pick certain projects through electives that are geared towards the learning experience you want to achieve. So essentially, through all those projects and electives, there are core skills that you can gain through your Pathways projects. Public speaking, interpersonal communication, strategic thinking, management, and of course, you gain confidence through it all. And then people always ask, okay, so this is what Pathways looks like. How does this combine with meeting roles? I think meeting roles, we have to start looking at them as not just additional skills, even though I've called it additional skills on the slides. It's actually complementary, and the skills are intertwined to make you a whole, speaker and leader. So in terms of the meeting roles, you get everything from active listening to time management, facilitating through being Toastmaster of the night, or even table topics. And these are some of the roles you can do along the way. And I would like to especially mention effective feedback and evaluations. I think we don't put enough emphasis on evaluations and in terms of what you can gain from them. I think to speak better, you need to be able to also give feedback, because through listening to other people's speeches and giving feedback, you also learn what are the key things to improve on your own journey and your own experience. So, what are the tools? Basically, with how Pathways is set up now, there is Basecamp on Toastmasters International, an online tool. It's an online page where you can access, and not just access, but you have to work through all your projects and assignments and tick them off. And in the interactive session, I'm going to go through an example, and we're actually going to show you. Rutendo here is the president. She's between her and I, we're going to show you how to complete an assignment, submit it so that your Basecamp manager can actually accept that the assignment is complete. And the next tool that we have in Toastmasters is Easy Speak. I know some clubs are not on Easy Speak, but what Easy Speak is an automated scheduling system. And there's also always a fundamental question of, are the two linked? Yes, somewhat they are linked, because your VPE has to load the paths that you're on Easy Speak. And every time you do speeches and do roles, they are also recorded on Easy Speak. So it's simply a scheduling tool, but the power that is in Easy Speak is not just a scheduling tool. It is the tool that we can use to bridge with other clubs. You can request speeches at other clubs, do roles at other clubs by simply going on Easy Speak and selecting that, right? So I will also do a short demo. I know there are a lot of Toastmasters in this meeting who are who've walked this journey a while, so they're fairly familiar with Easy Speak. So when I do a demo of Easy Speak, I'll keep it short, and Yumna's also going to put a poll up at the end, so that going forward we could possibly do a whole nother session on Easy Speak if people would like that, especially for the newer Toastmasters. So in essence, every time as a VP, I always get this question: where do the roles go? Okay, there's meetings, there's your pathway projects, but how do they actually fit in? So what Pathways has done is that through the electives, you get to do certain roles at different levels. But the good news is that with the way Basecamp is developing, you don't have to do everything when you're on that level. So for instance, if you want to be Toastmaster of the Evening, Toastmaster of the Evening on Pathways is only as a level 4 elective, but you can actually do it earlier than that. But at the same time, that's where I was saying Easy Speak comes in, because then you can track the roles that you've done. So then when you now have to submit or tick off your assignments, you can use that as reference, right? So in terms of where some of the roles would fit in, on level 1, a definite role that you have to do is an evaluation. Timekeeper is something at EY we encourage people on level 1 to do, but no, it is not specifically within the Pathways program, but it is a role that I think at meetings it's necessary, and we pay it forward. We like to say you have to pay it forward. To have a full meeting, we need some of these roles, so you need to also engage in that. And similarly with grammarian and our counter, they are not specifically on the Pathways program, but they are roles that I think are very vital in terms of the additional skills that you need to speak, which is also active listening. With table topics, it is on level 3 and 2, depending on the path you're on. So for instance, motivational strategies, level 2 for motivational strategies is 2 speeches and a role, which is table topics. And level 3, depending on the path you're on, table topics, being a table topics master is an elective on level 3. And then as I mentioned, being a Toastmaster is an elective on level 4. So this is how the projects and parts and electives merge together for the full journey. But in essence, at the end of this journey, by the time you're done with all 5 levels of Pathways, you would have done about 15 speeches. You would have spoken, you would have given feedback, you'd have listened, engaged, and done teamwork. Teamwork through some of the projects that are on level 5. For instance, this, like I mentioned, this workshop is actually a project that I'm doing for my level 5 pathway on innovative planning. And I had to come together with PR, with president, get advice from the immediate past president as well, and for the VPM and my mentor on at EY. But in essence, the real journey that Pathways is giving us, and what the integrated sort of development through integrating all the roles into the parts and electives, is really to become a leader. That was the vision with integrating everything onto one platform. Yes, I know there are challenges now in actuality when you try work through the platform, which in the next session I'm going to touch on. But I would like to open up the session now to have question and answers just on some of the aspects that I've touched on what do the levels entail, the projects, the electives. So I would like to open up the floor. I'm going to stop sharing, and remember, yeah, everyone can participate. So I'm hoping some people dropped some questions in the chat box, but if not, you can either raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask your question and I can answer, or different people in this group. Actually, there are a lot more people in this group who've walked further than I have walked in my pathways. And I always like to say that I like to learn from those who've walked before me. So they can also chime in and answer. And Yumna has put up a poll. And like I said, these polls, we're going to use them to develop future workshops. So we just want to get a sense of how familiar people are with Basecamp with the poll, and do they know the difference and how they're related. But yeah, let's open up for a Q&A. So you can just either raise your hand or unmute yourself and we can take it from there. Litle, I saw you were unmuting your mic.
Yes, hi, once again.
Hi.
First of all, thank you so much. It's very comprehensive. So I'm fairly new to Toastmasters, about maybe 6 months. I don't know if that's still new, but you mentioned that Easy Speak is available to some clubs and not others. So I just wanted to find out why other clubs aren't exposed to it.
No, it is available for all clubs. Just maybe some clubs are not using it out of maybe personal preference for the way the clubs are run, but it is available for everyone to load the club on there, as far as I know.
Would it be available to members or just the committee, the leadership committee?
Oh, EasySpeak is a scheduling tool which is available for members and everyone to use. I'm actually going to, when I do the interactive tour, I'm going to do a short session where I show you just as a member, because I'm a club officer, but I will show you from a membership point of view what you can do on EasySpeak. You can request speeches and roles within your own club. Other clubs, you can visit other clubs just through EasySpeak. That's why I was saying it's actually a powerful tool sometimes that people forget about, that connects all clubs through the world, that you can see who's doing what, when, everyone's meetings through a calendar, and request roles at other clubs as well and interact with other clubs. So yeah, I will do a little session on that as well.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Hi.
Yes, me.
Hi.
Okay. I just wanted to know, but I'm assuming that you are going to answer this still because it was in the poll. But I thought like Pathways is Basecamp. Basecamp is Pathways. So if you could just explain that relationship to me a little bit better, I will appreciate it.
Okay. So yes, Pathways is Basecamp. So when you do select your paths, you've got the option of paying extra to get all your projects printed out and slightly then work off Basecamp. But essentially, Pathways is Basecamp. Basecamp is what is sort of the platform that Pathways hosts all the projects. And so it was just a way of gauging, because people always ask, okay, I'm on Pathways, and then when you mention Basecamp, they always ask, what's that? It's just the name that's given to the platform that hosts Pathways. I hope that answers your question.
That makes 100% sense. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think we'll take maybe 2 more questions on the session, and then I want to quickly move on to just navigating Basecamp. Hi, Nonhlanhla.
Yeah, I also want to find out, I've only done one session speech, which is an icebreaker. And I've gone through the base camp where they teach you how to navigate on the site. But now I logged out. I moved for a while. I was out of the Toastmasters meetings, and I came back this year. Now I want to continue with my the path that I selected last year. But now I don't know how to go. I can't select my path that I selected last year. It's a bit difficult.
Is it that
to go to the next step? It doesn't really show. It's not easy to find.
Okay, I'm not sure I get the question.
The question is, I chose leadership as a path.
Leadership, dynamic leadership or leadership development. Okay, cool.
Leadership development. Then I did an icebreaker on that path. Then I didn't continue. Now I want to continue. I logged in again. It's not easy to navigate. I went to the same path. It doesn't show the steps, like what step should I take next. I don't know how to navigate in that sense.
All right. Okay. So when I start, which is probably, I don't know if anyone else has a question, I will show you how to get directly to your curriculum. Because I know when you get on the landing page, the Toastmasters page, there's actually a lot going on, but you can actually, there are things you can select there to go directly to your curriculum. Cynthia, I see you've unmuted yourself. Do you want to address that? Thank you.
Hi, Nonhlanhla. So one of the things that I picked up was that there is a bit of a bug, and I picked it up yesterday, and they actually did highlight it on Toastmasters International, that there has been a navigation error of sorts. So
Okay.
I don't know if your profile has been affected by that navigation error. So you might just want to, let's watch what Tapiwa does, the demo. And
Okay.
if you are encountering the same error, I'm more than happy to assist you after the session where we can navigate it together and see what's happening.
Okay, I'll be clear. Thank you.
Okay,
No
thank
problem.
you. Thank you for the questions, everyone. So I'm just going to share my screen and show you. So basically with this, I'm not going to tour everything on TMI. There's actually a lot available on Pathways on TMI. What I really want to do is show, because a few members were asking that, okay, we're super busy, but you know, there's so much going on. Well, what do we actually need to be doing here? How do we get to the speeches? How do we get to everything? So that's what I'm going to show today. Getting on TMI, getting to your curriculum, and completing and going through your projects and what are the different things available. So let me just share my screen. Right, hope everyone can see that. I'm just going to log in. Oh no, sorry. Let me just stop sharing and sort that out. But Yumna, I think you can just maybe drop the next poll while I just verify this and log in. Okay, thank
Hi,
you.
Tapiwa. So I've shared the poll results as to, you know, how familiar people are with Basecamp and Pathways and how they're related. So I think it's, I'll definitely be saving this. So we know, like, for next workshops, you know, what we, you know, need to address more and stuff. But I think we're doing great. You're doing a great job, Tapiwa.
Thank you so much. Let me just share this. Okay, so now when you log in, sorry, I'll just take you to the actual first page that you would see when you've logged in. So this is where you'd get to when you log in. So essentially, to get through all your assignments and everything, what you need to do is go to Basecamp. I'm assuming, I am approaching this assuming that everyone has already chosen the path, but Yumna has actually thrown up a poll so that we can get a sense of, have people actually chosen paths? Because if you haven't chosen your path, then you wouldn't be able to get to Basecamp and your curriculum. So basically, what is important when you get on TMI is just going to Pathways and going to Basecamp. So yes, essentially when you hear people talking about Basecamp, Basecamp is just the page that hosts all your projects and assignments. So Pathways is Basecamp, Basecamp is Pathways. So on Basecamp, actually, in the last week, which is maybe why there are certain errors that are coming up, Basecamp revamped to a more interactive look. So on here, you get your educational transcript. So that is actually the most important part, is parts and learning there, your education transcript. That's where you can access all your projects and work through all your assignments. The other things that are available on the Basecamp landing page is speech evaluations. There you can get all the resources for learning how to evaluate, different evaluation forms, tutorials and resources. Also very useful. You can go there and there are different tutorials on how to give speeches, videos. So there is immense material on here. But yes, I know everyone always says, no, we're too busy. We need to know just the crux of how to get through our assignments. So there are two ways to get to your curriculum. You can either go to Parts and Learning, your education transcript, or you can go to when you've already chosen your path, you scroll down and you go directly and open your curriculum. So I will show you what this looks like. It looks like that. You open your curriculum. But if you were to just go directly, scroll down and open your curriculum, you go straight to all your projects. So with all the projects, what Toastmasters International has done, okay, thank you, Yumi, for the polls. What Toastmasters International has done is that you can actually view all the projects even before you're on that level. And why I think that is very useful is that sometimes there are certain projects you may want to do before you're on that level. Let's say you're doing it either for professionally, you want to already try out a panel which is on level 5. So you can actually view a lot of the projects. But essentially, so I'm going to show you with my level 4 projects how I was talking about their projects and electives. With every project, you get into the level and you have to launch the project to work through it, to access the evaluations. And with every project, there's a number of things that you need to do to tick through the project. And why you need to be doing this is because at the end of the level, for you to get recognition from TMI, you need to submit a level completion to Basecamp, and then a Basecamp manager who's either your VPE, the president or secretary, can then accept your level completion. No, it will not block you from moving on to the next, from doing projects on other levels, but in terms of the recognition and submitting your educational awards on Toastmasters, you need to work through the assignments, tick off everything, and submit for Basecamp completion. So with every assignment, right, there is lots to scroll through. I must say, even with myself, as I go ahead, I get to this page and sometimes I'm overwhelmed. So the easy trick here, not the easy trick, but the way around this is this drop down at the bottom of the page. Through that drop down, you can come here and see, okay, what is actually the assignment and what is the material available on each of the projects. But the important things on each project is get the assignments, assess your skills before, and assess your skills after, and submit those assessments. So for the project to be ticked off, you need to make sure that you submit the assessments and also access your evaluation material. So with the assessments, yeah, I don't know if there is time, but let me just try do it quickly. So with level 4, I gave a speech during the week. I had done the pre-assessment, and I will just show you. So basically with the assessments, the tricky thing is you need to submit the assessments each time. So it's 5 questions that you need to go through. Actually, well, not 5, sorry. A bunch of questions that you need to go through and make sure at the end of each sorry. Okay. Yes, at the end of the assessment, you submit. Similarly to the pre-assessment, you need to submit each time. So there, I did the assessment before and after. I received an evaluation. And I'll also show you, there's actually a place on Basecamp where you can load all your evaluation forms. The reason why that is useful is because sometimes you lose track of if it was emailed, if it was a hard copy. So I find that loading them on my Basecamp makes it easier that I can reference all the evaluations as I go forward. So after you submit, you get this congratulations, you're done with your assignment. So essentially the important things on each project is the assignment itself, what is it about, doing the pre-assessment, the post-assessment after you do the speech, and the evaluation material. So after that, you'll notice now, before it was a certain, I think it was like 50%, and now there is a tick to show that I have completed. Even with the elective projects, the projects that are completed, every time you know that you've done the right thing and you've ticked through everything, you'll see that it says 100%. So now I have to, so now I'm done with the level. I've done my projects and the electives on this level. To submit completion of level to the Basecamp manager, you have to activate this last step, which is level 4 completion, or whatever level you're on, it would say completion. You have to activate that and launch. It simply opens up this PDF, but I've already submitted my completion level, and then Ritendo, who is the president, because I'm VP, I actually can't accept my own level completions, but then the Basecamp manager will then get a notification under member progress. So there's a different interface when you're a Basecamp manager, and they would see that and then accept my level completion. So this percentage will remain like this until the Basecamp manager accepts. But it does not stop me from then moving to level 5 and looking at what are the other projects available. And to do, like, let's say, for instance, with the electives, you would open up the electives on whatever level you're on, and there's a number of them available. You activate, you launch, you go through the, what is the assignment, what is the pre-assessment for the skills, the post-assessment, and the evaluation. So I'm hoping I have addressed a lot of the concerns. What I can just show you is where to load your evaluations when you do them. So with each path and level completion that you submit, you get badges. You can also, I think a lot of people don't even know that you can come on here and give each other feedback and encouragement. I don't use it a lot, but yeah, someone gave me feedback, Cynthia, actually some time ago, when we're actually trying it out and seeing what are all the things available on here. So with the evaluations, you can come and actually my documents. You can load your speech preparation, your evaluations, and everything on here so that everything is in one place.
Sorry, could you show me once more how you got there, please?
Oh, sorry, did I go too fast? Okay. Yeah, and please, anyone, if I'm going too fast, please do stop me. Okay, so this is on the Basecamp landing page, and you just scroll down. When you scroll down, there's my feedback, my badges, my documents. You get to my documents. Okay. And for instance, what my evaluator sent me, they filled in the evaluation on PDF, and I loaded it here. So then I can keep all my documents here. Cool. And they don't have to be lying around everywhere. So every time I do a speech and I remember that, oh, snap, I want to look at that evaluation that Younger gave me for my level 4. He said some things that were really important, but I can't remember. This is why this is useful. Then you can load all your documents here and keep them here. What else? I think just maybe the last, okay, yes, the last thing that I would like to mention is that on your curriculum.
I just had a question. What are the badges?
Sorry?
I just had a question. What are the badges?
Okay, so the badges is what Toastmasters gives you as you complete each level. So as you can see there, I've got a badge for the levels that I've completed. So that's what basically the badges are. This is the recognition you get. So that's why it's important to work through the assignments, tick them off, submit them for your Basecamp manager. And this is how Toastmasters International then recognizes, gives you badges, and also then they are submitted as educational awards by the club officers. Does that answer the question? Yeah, actually, I think just
Yes,
there's
yes.
one more thing I want to mention about the resources, how you can actually open up stuff. So I'm going to go back to my curriculum. No, let me actually go back to, so that's why I was saying there's a number of ways to navigate Pathways. There's either you open directly your curriculum, which will take you to the path you're on, or you go to Paths and Learning, which is your education transcript. And with your education transcript, what is great is that there are different resources that are here that you can actually open up. Like, let's say I want to learn about evaluating. I can type there. Then I can launch that. And then it loads onto my curriculum. I'm not going to go through all of it, but I just want to show you that if there are things that you'd like to learn extra about, you can actually search for training, and it loads on your curriculum. Now, if you scroll down, how to evaluate is there. I've added it to my curriculum so that I can, there's certain things I can launch. And you can see I've also launched other things like Pathways Mentor Program. There's actually a whole separate mentor program that Toastmasters International has created that you can get recognition for being a mentor, but that is only available after level 2. So speaking about that, I'll just touch on the last thing on Basecamp when you're on the landing page. So as you go through the different levels, Pathways recognizes, so like let's say with the Pathways Mentor Program, that only becomes a curriculum that you can do after level 2. So after level 2, all the time, Basecamp keeps on throwing suggested learning experiences, and you can decide to load them or not if it's something that you want to do, and you add it to your curriculum and it's something else that you're learning through and going through. So I think that's it from me from the interactive session. I'm gonna stop my screen, or either people want to ask me questions. Maybe let me stay on here as people ask questions, then I can address them here and show different things. So please, if you've got any questions about Basecamp, I'm going to try my level best to answer from my own learning experience, and also if there's anyone else who would like to chime in on the experience on Basecamp and how to navigate different things, that would be really awesome.
Hi, Tapiwa. Rotendo here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Rotendo.
Hi. First of all, I want to say thank you so much. This has been such an eye-opening presentation, even for myself who thought I was fairly familiar with Basecamp. There are a few things you've mentioned today that I was like, oh my word, you know, that's absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for today. I want to actually, I mean, it's half a question, half a thought or consideration. When we used to meet one-on-one, just looking at that right on the screen, there's the speech evaluations. Meeting one-on-one when we met, you know, we would print our evaluations, bring them, write them out. Being online and now needing to engage online, how best would you kind of advise people to go through the process of, sorry, that's not me saying. I don't know if it's like that, it might be. But how best would you advise people to go through the process of, you know, speaking to the evaluator before, you know, saying these are the things I need to look out for, and then as well as having those evaluation forms? How should one possibly look at approaching evaluation forms?
Pretend. Maybe Younger can take that. I saw Younger in here. He's really a maven at evaluations. But basically, if I get your question right, you're asking how would you, is it how you would download the evaluation of Basecamp, or sharing them, or?
So just in terms of process, or any advices for process coming to evaluations, because it's not like if you're evaluating me, I can't print my form and give it to you. How, I don't know if you have any advice on that, or if anyone has
Got a
advice.
suggestion.
Okay.
Yes, please.
What I've noticed in some of the meetings I've been taking part in, and I've been visiting some international clubs as well, what they did at the most recent one is they created a WhatsApp group for all the role players for that meeting. And I know it can be cumbersome, WhatsApp groups as it goes, but they can also be useful. So that is one way of doing it. The other way is for the VPE to get the evaluator and the speaker in touch with each other directly before the meeting, so that they can either WhatsApp each other, email each other, or whatever is most convenient. I think that has worked well for us, especially when, as you say, when you need to tell them to look out for particular things, or especially if you're doing, speech 2 of project 1.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's a perfect answer. Or even in the Zoom meeting, I think there was another meeting I attended where, okay, let's say if you don't know the role players, they haven't created a WhatsApp group and you didn't even know who your evaluator was. I think using the direct messaging platform in whatever platform you're meeting on, and directly messaging your evaluator and uploading your evaluation form directly to them, which is why it's important to actually, as you work through your assignments on Basecamp, to download the evaluation forms. And let me actually show everyone that actually, but this is a bit tricky because you need to know what the evaluation form, but there is a place on Basecamp, speech evaluations, where you get everything from resources on how to evaluation, how do you access. It actually gives you directions on how to do it, how to give your evaluator access, and you scroll down and all the evaluation forms for a lot of the projects are right here. You can access them directly here. Like, let's say you don't have time and you know for sure that your next project is effective body language. Then you just come here, download your evaluation form, share it beforehand, and then you can do the pre-assessment, post-assessment for your assignment at a later stage. But this is useful when you're rushed for time and you just want and you know specifically what the project is called and what you're doing. You can just come here and download your evaluation forms directly here. They're all hosted here. Yeah, I'd love to take some more questions, maybe 2 more questions, because we
Tapiwa?
had. Hello, yes.
This is Cynthia. I don't have a question, but it's just an add-on to the evaluation thing, if that's okay, if I can just chime in.
Yes,
So I've
please.
been a VPE before, and one of the things that used to work was being able to say, okay, I've gotten the evaluators and the speakers, and just send a big, if you've got like a WhatsApp group, for example, in the for your club, you say, this is your WhatsApp, these are the evaluators, these are the speakers. Then it's the responsibility, and I think that's something that we often forget as Toastmasters, that is the responsibility of you as a speaker to engage with your evaluator, and likewise the evaluator to engage with the speaker. We can't put the responsibility on the VPE to say, okay, VPE, put us together. Okay, VPE, create a WhatsApp group. All that is amazing. I think it's great. I think if you have the capacity to do it, go for it. But I think it's something that we need to continuously remind the members and remind ourselves as members that, you know what, I want to get a great evaluation. I need to actually download this and send it to my evaluator. And if my evaluator is from another club, nag your VPE. Hey, can I have the contact? Let me just chime in, talk to that person, and we can work that way. But fundamentally, it's also our responsibility as Toastmasters to do so. Thanks a million.
Okay. Any more questions?
Can I maybe just make a quick suggestion? When you go into your curriculum and open there and you see the elective projects at the top there, yeah, maybe you can quickly do that. There it tells you how many are available and how many are required to do. So you see the minimum required. I think it's important that people know that.
Yes, yes, yes. So you get to, yeah, so yes, thank you for actually adding on that. With the electives, like let's say on level 4, it would have been, yeah, 1 elective required out of the list that they do give you, and then the project. So, but sometimes a lot of people have actually asked me that, you know, there's minimum required 3 and then 2, but it's actually 1 and 1. So on different levels, your path completion submission is counted. So that's a total of 3 items. As you can see, both my projects here are ticked. So my project actually that I did, the elective are ticked, which is the 2 things, completed 2. And then the third thing is not another speech, not another project. It's my level completion getting submitted. I thought I should just mention that because a few people have actually asked me about it, that I've done everything. Why does it still say 2 or 3 or the numbers don't add up? So your level completion is one of the sort of items to complete on your level. If the more questions we can take, I think, yeah, we're looking good for time. We did say the session would be an hour. So maybe 1 or 2 more questions.
Hi, Tapiwa.
Hi.
You're speaking to Portia here, running from NetBank at Toastmasters. Thank you so much for an incredible session. I'm a fairly new Toastmaster member. In fact, I joined as at the beginning of this month. So I'm yet to do my meet and greet and do my first icebreaker speech. So in registration on the website, as I was navigating through the system in trying to get my right pathway, I had to do an assessment as encouraged, obviously. But as I did the assessment, it then prompts me to select, obviously, my curriculum, but then it does activate a price, which I'm happy to do. However, it then says I can only access the icebreaker once I've selected the pathways, and I'm happy to do that. So I think Ankiwa is helping me at the back end as I'm having a chat with her one-on-one, which I'm very grateful for. So I thought I could share that experience as well, where at the end of the pathway, the message does come out to say for you to be able to have access to the base camp, you then have to activate the other curriculum first. So I'm not sure if it's also associated with you when you mentioned earlier that the base camp website is, or that curriculum is under upgrade, development, and so forth. So I thought maybe if I share that, maybe someone else may be going through the same experience. But I'm very grateful for Ankiwa, who will be having a separate session with me after this.
Okay, thank you for adding that on. Yes, I think your curriculum can only be loaded once you've chosen your path.
Okay. Now that makes sense. I wasn't aware. I was under the impression that you first have to go through the presentation mastery level, which is the base camp transcript, before you could then enter into any other optional levels. But it seems like one is triggered by the other.
Yes, and you can actually pick any path. I guess the other question that always comes up is which is the path to pick, but with the way Toastmasters aimed to structure pathways was that you pick what you want and you make it your own.
Grateful. Thank you so much, Lay. This has been a very enlightening session. I appreciate it. It's been very enlightening.
Thank you.
And then, yes, it's very, very positive. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
You too, Portia. Maybe I'll just, if there are no more questions, Yumna, are there any questions in the chat box, in the chat?
Well, I mean, like, I think we're basically done. I asked Celeste, I don't know if Celeste, if you're still here, but I know that you had a question about, you know, you would like to understand the purpose behind, oh, there she's messaging me, you know, understanding the purpose behind both platforms and how best to navigate, you know, Basecamp and Pathways and all of that when her time is very limited. So I just asked her whether that question has been answered for her or whether she needs more clarification on that. So Celeste,
hello, hi everyone, how's everyone? Sorry, didn't want to be incognito here. I'm listening attentively, and Tapiwa, this is really, really such an education. It's fantastic to have a guiding light. So there's a lot more clarity here, and obviously both platforms have got their purpose in that. And I think it's really about understanding the reasoning behind both platforms. The one is to, the one is to sort of choose your path and to monitor your pathway and that. Where I'm, and maybe this is what Cynthia touched on. For example, I've done my icebreaker. I'm sorry, I'm bringing it back to my personal situation, but maybe this can help others. Yeah, maybe it can also help people that are in the starting blocks. I'm still on level 1. I've done my icebreaker, but I have evaluated on 2 occasions, and I have also been a timekeeper, which I am presuming is called electives. Is that what you call it? Electives, is that right?
Okay, so with the roles. So with the roles, let me backtrack. With level 1, an evaluation role is not an elective. So level 1 and 2 do not have electives. So the roles you do are part and parcel of the level. But then I will rebut and say that evaluations are part of level 1, but being a timekeeper is more a developmental leadership role within the Toastmasters program. It is not directly linked to your levels. So the roles that are directly linked to your levels and going through your levels, either starting from level 1 to 5, would be evaluation roles, table topics master, and Toastmaster of the day or evening, or yes. So those 3 roles are fixed, definite roles within the different levels. But as you go beyond, let's say, level 3, those, like, so for instance, table topics master and Toastmaster of the evening, those 2 are electives on the other levels. But depending, yes, a lot of people get confused. Even I, as a VPE initially, just having to guide people through this, I had to learn a lot about what it entails. So I will give an example of motivational strategies. Motivational strategies is one of the 11 parts. On level 2 of motivational strategies, it is 2 speeches and a role, which is table topics master. But on the other hand, I am on innovative planning. And for my level 2, doing a role was not part of it. Doing table topics master for me only came on level 3 as an elective. Celeste, have I lost you? I hope I haven't lost everyone and suddenly confused everyone with all this. But okay, yes, so that's how it works. Depending on the path you're on, some of the roles will either be a fixed project that you have to do, or it will be an elective, which is why it's important. I'm sure I keep on, every time I message someone about doing a speech, I always say, are you working through Basecamp? Please work through Basecamp. That is why it's important to work through Basecamp, so that you can see the difference. But as well, with the way Basecamp is structured, you can already peek into the different levels. You don't have to have completed a level to be looking. You can look through the different levels and see what is available to you by just dropping down like that and looking at what is available in the different levels. Yeah, I think we've just reached time, and I realized that I actually forgot to quickly go into Easy Speak, but Easy Speak is super fast. I'm just going to take 5 minutes and go into it because I'm already there. So basically, with an earlier question about what is Easy Speak, are all clubs on it? Clubs, I guess, have the executive decision to decide whether to load themselves on Easy Speak, but a lot of Toastmasters clubs are already loaded on Easy Speak. What Easy Speak is a scheduling tool for clubs, and you can also track your role progress and speech progress on Easy Speak. So let me just log in and change to, oh, sorry, that's on the wrong. Okay, so I'm just changing back to member view to come out of officer view so I can show people how to use EasySpeak. So with EasySpeak, let's say for your own home club, which for me is Ernest & Young, if I want to do an evaluation, I log into EasySpeak. Your EasySpeak details would have been sent to you and loaded onto, your username would have been loaded onto EasySpeak by your VPE, and those details, those login details would have been sent to you. So what is great about EasySpeak, you don't have to keep on chasing someone and messaging, hi, have you added me to the agenda? No, you can just come on yourself and decide, okay, this week with the next meeting, which is for Ernest & Young, it's on the 18th of June. I want to be an evaluator. All I come and do is tick yes, I want to be an evaluator. If I want to request a speech, I just request a speech. And as I was saying, that you don't need to do your speeches in order of the levels. You can come on EasySpeak and let's say you decide, like I decide that, okay, on level 5, all the electives, the projects and everything are loaded here, that you can come and select that, okay, I've just finished level 4, but on level 5 I want to do the last project that's on there. I come here and I drop down and I select, if I'm requesting a speech, the project I want to do, and then the EasySpeak manager, who's usually your VPE, would have seen that you requested a speech and everything. You can put in your title and everything. What I want to just draw everyone's attention to, especially for maybe some of the newer members, is that on your EasySpeak page, what is super useful, and you can go to your calendar and see the clubs in your area, or you can drop down and actually decide which clubs you want to see in the district, what the clubs that are having online meetings, and you can come on this page, click on the club. Where are we? Let's say next week I want to attend Breakfast Club. I can go on there, request a speech or request a role. So I know definitely on the 18th, for instance, I want to attend the Worstlake Club and I want to roll. And already, let me show you, I'm already picking a role for a meeting I will be attending on the 18th. And that's it. I've just signed up to attend another club's meeting and be a role player. So that is what EasySpeak is useful for. Scheduling at your own club, at other clubs, if you want to either request a speech or do a role in another club and challenge yourself. So yeah, I think that's it from me. I will stop sharing and then maybe we can just get some closing thoughts and closing questions.
I'd like to say something. We just recently saw another club using a kind of a Excel spreadsheet to do their forward planning for role players for upcoming meetings. And I assume a lot of clubs do that. We've left it up to each VPE to run their own thing. But we're thinking of bringing a more centralized kind of solution in. And we were actually going to just take that idea and do a spreadsheet. But this actually looks like it might be more dynamic. So I'm going to look into it a bit more.
Yes, it is. I don't know if maybe Cynthia or Younger can help me answer how clubs get to load themselves on EasySpeak. But I think there's a whole process that a club can get to load themselves on EasySpeak. But yes, I feel like EasySpeak is way more dynamic. You've got access to other clubs, your own club, and it's easier for members to just come on here and request speeches and roles. Yeah.
Yeah, EasySpeak is really the way to go. I feel sorry for those clubs that are using spreadsheets. You got everything recorded. You visit other clubs, it's all recorded there. You can look, if you at a later stage want to apply for something, then you can actually look in the history. All your workbooks are loaded. It is so easy, and I cannot understand that there are clubs that are not using it.
Yes, thank you, Wally, for adding on to that.
I found the link where you can put in your club number to apply for an account. So I've just shared that. If you go to that webpage on the bottom right, there's a little block that says register a new club on EasySpeak.
Thank you for sharing that.
Cool.
Hi, Tapiwa, can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi. Yes, I'm Swengile from North Riding. So I want to know if the club is new, ours is new, and you just went into Easy Speak now, but obviously you've had meetings since January, for example, and you want to track, you know, the roles that I've played. Is there a way to go back and say in March, I was a Toastmaster, I was a grammarian, or does it only start reflecting when you register on Easy Speaks?
Yeah, it will. The role tracking would be available from when you were registered on EasySpeak, and also depending on if you're attending clubs that are also registered on EasySpeak, because they'll be loading that content there. So on EasySpeak, there's a place where, like Wally said, you can go and see your own transcript somewhat in terms of seeing all the roles you've done at the different clubs and even some of the speeches you've given. I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I think we'll close for today. I don't know, Rutendo, Madam President, is there something you want to close with? But I would just like to say thank you very much to everyone for attending. Yumi, I will hand over to you. I can see you've got your hand raised there.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, Tapiwa, that was an amazing job that you did. Oh my goodness, like, wow, really. You're so on the ball, to the point. You've got everything covered, so detailed and everything. I really enjoyed it, and I think this is really helpful. Yay!
So much. It was my first time doing something like this, and I was pretty nervous. So.
No, you did an amazing
So thank
job.
you for that encouragement.
Yeah.
Thank you for that encouragement. And I'll just like to extend a warm thank you to everyone for attending. I can see we've got a lot of people attending from different clubs, different places. Thank you so much for joining EY at this workshop and this experience. And hopefully we'll do more of these, because I think there's also a lot to be benefited from having conversations like this about our learning outside of our meeting agenda, and, you know, just continue the learning together. So I'm pretty excited that we can do this sort of online workshop. So, you know, with the disruption that COVID has brought, it has also brought lots of opportunity for us to engage like this. So I'm really thankful to everyone for attending. Thank you so much. And with that, the meeting is closed.
Yay. So I wanted to say that I just sent through the agenda again, because it has resources in there with like video links to YouTube videos on the basics of how to navigate Pathways and Basecamp and how to log in. So you guys can download that, have a look at it later. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
This
so
was amazing.
much,
Have a
everyone,
good
for
day.
attending. Thank you.
Thank you, Tapiwa. You were awesome.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Well done.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.